Here we go. Well, welcome to the 2025 Bike and Hike welcome call. Tonight, I'll just be presenting on what our theme is, why the bike and hike is important, and special ways that you can get involved this year. So starting with the theme, the official title is Caring for Everybody Moving Through Nature. And the way that it's written with the everybody being two separate words is not a typo. We are this year reflecting on design and accessibility in nature, and particularly at the intersection of disability justice and environmental justice. And so we're really playing on the theme of bodies, both bodies of every ability, human bodies, but also bodies of nature. So our official theme graphic as well shows a body of water. Especially, we thought that was relevant since we're doing so much work around watersheds this year and last year. And then it also shows like celestial bodies, and the ripples are the rings of the solar system. So that is a very, very quick overview of the title itself. Now, for the concept, I have just like some writing on that I've created. When you think of nature, what assumptions do you make about who has access and how it is designed? Taking that a step further, what counts as nature to you? Is the earth a body? For our 2025 Bike and Hike, we invite you to join us in pondering these questions and challenging our assumptions about nature, design, and accessibility. We understand that environmental justice is intertwined with many intersecting issues. This month, we're reflecting on the intersection of climate justice and disability. And how does this relate? In so many ways. The social model of disability, for example, while imperfect, guides us to think of disability as a result of inaccessible built environment and design choices. For example, if we never built barriers that wheelchair users couldn't get around, such as curbs and stairs, then their wheelchair use wouldn't be disabling. How can we build our environment in more accessible ways? Expanding on this, how can we design our forest trails to be accessible to everybody, including all people, animals, water, and more? And there's also a very common assumption that I've noticed where people don't think that disabled people can have access to nature, and therefore like trails aren't designed with them in mind, and so it's difficult to use like a wheelchair or a rollator on them, or that kind of thing. So there are quite a few ADA accessible trails, but not all of them. And also, because we are PA IPL, we bring this theme to our theological traditions, and we are reminded that in certain faith traditions, there is a large body of work around the idea that nature is the body of God. So I invite you to think about what you think of as nature and how that impacts your practices of care and stewardship of the land. Do urban environments count as nature? We invite you to join us for the month of May, spending time reflecting, observing, and moving through nature with these questions in mind, with our annual Bike and Hike program. Together, we'll be dreaming and building the futures we want to see, which are inclusive of everybody. So that's a little bit about the theme and our concept. And so next, why is it important? The Bike and Hike is one of our biggest fundraisers. It's a key program that we do, and it allows everything else to happen. We are funded through grants, that is true, but you cannot underestimate the power of grassroots fundraising. And there's a lot of things that we do that aren't funded by grants, like, for example, outreach and engagement. That's not always built into the grant, although I know we try to. And of course, the behind the scenes work, a lot of administration, communications type work, that's not explicitly built into the grants. So operating costs like that, which do enable all of the other programs which may or may not be funded by grants. So here as well, I just have a few pictures from what we've done in the last year. We've done lots of tabling, lots of education, and congressional, no, sorry, that's the wrong word, visits to congregations. And right now we are in the thick of tree distribution. So this was from a tree distribution here in Philly that I went to last week. That is mostly empowered by volunteer labor, but is something that we are able to do as well because of the fundraising that we have. So on to some more logistical things. This year we have a website through the Raisley platform, and that is where you can go to register, to sponsor people, to find out more information. We also have a blog for the first time this year. So I will actually move away from the presentation as well to show you my dashboard. Are you able to see that screen? It says like, welcome, Sparrow. Yeah, okay. And this is what it looks like when you're on the back end and logged in as a mover. And so important information to know before you register is how much you want to fundraise, how much you want your progress goal to be, whether or not you want to be a part of a team. And let's see, I don't see it here, but I do have a bio on here, just saying like why I'm fundraising, what it's for. So when you go to create your own account, be prepared to upload all that information as well as a photo. You can see me with my dog, who is right here. This is Skippy. He goes with me everywhere. And so, yeah, that's what the website looks like. I'll go back to this presentation. And yes, that is the dashboard for the movers, who participate in the bike and hike by setting goals to get moving and by fundraising. One thing that is special about this year, which I'll talk about a little bit more in a second as well, is that we are encouraging people in the spirit of our theme to set creative goals that are accessible to you. So we acknowledge not everybody is able to go biking or hiking, but maybe you want to get out in nature and measure your progress rather than miles, by the number of paintings that you make, or the poems that you write, or the time that you spend meditating in nature, or the number of pages that you read, maybe outdoors, or a million other things. One other suggestion that I've given quite a bit is the number of trees that you identify, or birds, that kind of thing. That one's a really, really fun way, and might be more accessible than our traditional biking and hiking goals. Shapers can get involved through advocacy. So we're going to have virtual lobby opportunities and a welcome call happening next week. So you'll hear more about that from Rainika in a moment. And then lastly, our doers participate in every other way. So we have our action a day calendar again this year. You can also participate by sponsoring movers, by engaging us with on social media or our blog, that kind of thing. And everybody can engage with us on social media, and we really encourage that as well, because it's a great way to build connections across the state with other people who are like-minded. And that's really what the bike and hike is about, is building connections, that kind of thing. So yes, a little bit more details about the movers as well. Speaking of building connections, this year we also, for the first time, have 3 preset teams that anyone can join. Like I said, the bike and hike is a great time to build connections within your own communities, whether that's with your congregation or just a few friends, or your neighbors, or just any group of people who wants to get together and do this. But if you don't have a group of people already and you do want to participate with a team, we have 3, and these are based on goals. So the philosophers will be reading a book together. It's going to be kind of like a book club. Although I don't know if we're meeting to actually discuss the book, but I know several members of the PA IPL team will be reading Disabled Ecologies. I also have other books that are relevant to the theme at the intersection of disability and environmental justice. The adventurers is the team of people who wants to get outside, get moving, biking and hiking, or otherwise being active and adventuring. And then the investigators is the team of people who have goals to identify numbers of trees, plants, birds, whatever, flora and fauna. And so if you want to be doing that in community with other people who are doing the exact same thing, you can join that team. Important to know as well is that we have an events calendar, which is on the website. Once you create your page on the dashboard, it will be under the resources section, or it is already there. But we'll also share this in other ways, I know, but just here's a little sneak peek of some of the awesome events, and we're only adding to them from here. So if you also have an event that you want to add, reach out to me and we can get it put on there. Let's see. Yes, we also have a trail guide. It's very similar to last year, but we've also added accessibility information and we've added more cities. So if you weren't represented in our trail guide last year, maybe you are this year. Or if you're not this year, then let me know and maybe we can add some trails that are closer to you, because we would love to be able to expand that more. And lastly, we have our movers guide. And so that contains more information about how to set a goal, how to fundraise. Importantly as well is that it has a template for making social media posts. So this, as you can see, is our graphic, and I've created it in a Canva document that anyone can view. And so once you view it, you go to File and then make a copy right there. And then you can edit it to make it specific to your own goal. You can add a QR code to your profile, which if you saw on the dashboard, they provide a QR code for you. Here's just another sample template. You can add like a selfie, again, your QR code, add more details about your progress goal and your fundraising goal. Cute little graphic. If you need help with making a social media post, either using this Canva template or otherwise, please feel free to let me know. We want to be able to help you as much as we can. Also, for the first time this year, I am super excited to say that we will have prizes. So if you raise $100, you will receive this limited edition PA IPL sticker. It says community care is an act of radical love, which is relevant to both our theme for the bike and hike and our theme for the annual convening. I'm not sure if we've announced that yet, but hint, hint. But it's just a lovely sentiment. Like that's a sticker that I want for myself and is also has our logo on it. If you raise $250, we will give you a packet of native seeds. And if you raise $500, you will receive your choice of either a screen printed shirt or tote bag. This is the design. It's our logo that's just been traced. It's going to be in one color. And as you'll see, it says handmade by the PA IPL team, limited edition. We are going about this in a very fun way in which we designed the logo ourselves, like and are getting it burned onto like a screen, and then we're going to screen print it just by hand and get all of our t-shirts from the thrift store and that kind of thing. So we wanted to be conscious about the fact that we didn't want it to be environmentally harmful, because it would be ironic for us to contribute to environmental pollution with our fundraiser. So that is something that I'm really excited about, and I hope you are too. Next, I will pass it off to Rainika to talk a little bit about some of our opportunities for shapers.
All right. Hi, everyone. I'm Ranika, and I'm coordinating advocacy for this year's Bike and Hike. If you have been with PA IPL for many seasons, you might remember that our Bike and Hike originated as a bike trip down to Washington, D.C., and that the end of the Bike and Hike culminated in several lobby visits with elected officials in Congress. That type of undertaking became difficult following the beginning of the COVID-19 pandemic. And although we brought a delegation to DC last summer, we are now dreaming of ways to make advocacy more accessible in line with our theme, caring for everybody, moving through nature. So right now, we are planning a series of virtual lobby visits throughout the month of May and building a space for folks who are engaged in advocacy to connect with us and with each other. You do not have to be a master at advocacy, and you also don't have to be a complete beginner. Wherever you are in your journey, we have plenty of opportunities. So I just want to give you a quick look into those opportunities right now. As you can see, we're setting up a series of virtual lobby meetings with a couple of different targets. You can request to join a meeting that will be set up by us with at least one staff person in that virtual room on that day. Your other option is to set up your own meeting with a representative. If you choose to do this, we cannot provide a staff person to sit with you. Rather, we cannot promise to provide a staff person to sit with you in that virtual room on the day of the meeting, but we can provide you with the support that you need to plan your first virtual lobby visit, including a faith-based advocacy one-pager and some issue-based one-pagers on a variety of topics, as well as email templates for scheduling and following up on a lobby meeting. Those one-pagers are going to be available later on. You won't have access to them today, but important to know that those are upcoming. You also separately have the opportunity to join Penn Environment's virtual lobby day, which we are co-sponsoring on Thursday, June 5th. This day is pretty easy. It's a 30 to 60-minute commitment, and Penn Environment's going to help you by giving you talking points, and their staff is going to schedule 1 to 2 30-minute virtual meetings with your elected officials between 9 a.m. and 5 p.m. on that day. And they're also going to host an optional virtual rally where you'll be joined by advocates and concerned citizens. These meetings will be with your state representatives and/or state senators between 9 a.m. and 5 p.m. The difference between Penn Environment's virtual lobby day is that they are going to give you access to your state representatives, and PA IPL can only and will only schedule meetings with federal representatives in Congress. So you can RSVP as soon as you'd like to for the Penn Environment Lobby Day. I will pop that link in the chat right now, actually, for anybody who'd like more information on it. But I also have a few links to show you all regarding our program. The first link is the Shapers intake form. So our Shapers are our folks, like I said, who are going to be involved in advocacy over the month of May. And if you're interested in anything that I've just talked about, you can fill out this Google form that I've just put in the chat. You'll also have access to this later, but you can fill this out and indicate which meetings you'd like to be a part of or whether you'd like to set up your own meeting. I will also pop in the chat a link to a Shapers orientation call, which is an orientation call for anybody who is interested in being a Shaper and an advocate during the month of May. If you click this link, you can register and have that added to your calendar. This is to sort of get oriented to the advocacy opportunities that we have going on. Neither filling out the intake form nor registering for the orientation call represents a firm commitment. You can sign up because you're motivated or because you're committed or because you simply want to find out more information about our advocacy opportunities, but we really encourage you to just come and find out more information either way. Besides that, I would also like to share a public-facing version of our advocacy packet this year that again, you'll also have access to later on, and that will be continually added to. But this is something that we're really excited about and sort of gives you a preview of what a lobby visit might look like, how to schedule one, and some of the information that Shapers will get at the orientation call and further down the line during this month. That is all I have for you. Oh, actually, that is not all I have for you, because you should know that this orientation call is taking place on May 8th at 7 p.m. I did not share that with you yet. So save the date or sign up and mark your calendar, and we'll hope to see you there.
Thank you so much, Ranika, for sharing all that. And yeah, the next way to get involved is as a doer. So we have our action a day calendar. You can also sponsor movers. As I mentioned earlier, you can also engage on social media. Doers just encompasses like every other way to be engaged with our bike and hike this year. Ty, would you like to highlight just a few of the items that we have on our action a day calendar?
Yeah, so the Action a Day calendar has been created over the past month or so. Essentially, it represents an intersection between all three of the ways that people can engage in the bike and hike. The movers, so it has different ways we can move our body, explore nature. We have action asks, and then finally we have I can't remember the third one. Oh, education. And we intentionally created it to be at the intersection of environment and justice and disability. And so throughout the calendar, throughout the month, you get to be prompted to explore different um, topics, such as more on the local scale, like researching the environmental problems or issues in your own neighborhood, or researching things about transportation justice. And on the second page of the Action a Day calendar, there is a research guide as well. So when you're going through, you can check that out for any resources. And there's also guidance for engagement on the second page. So I'm super excited about this, and I personally am going to print it out and put it in my kitchen for my roommates and I.
I like that idea. Um, and there is also one last category that you can be engaged with a bike and hike, which is as a sponsor. So just taking a quick moment to say thank you to all of our sponsors who have supported us so far. There are the Sisters of St. Joseph of Baden, Pennsylvania, Reimagine Appalachia, the Sierra Club of Pennsylvania, who we are doing a couple of hikes that we're like co-sponsoring with them. There's Reformation Lutheran Church, Pendle Hill, and also Two Brothers Bicycle Company, which is interesting because they have a couple locations. I forget exactly where at the moment, apologies. But they will be doing half off for just spring tune-ups if you are biking with us this year. So that's a really, really awesome deal. And there is still more room if anybody is interested in sponsoring or knows somebody who we should reach out to, please let us know about that. And at this point, that was a lot of information. So thank you all so much for listening. And now we can just open the floor, have any questions. I know that there was a lot, so feel free to ask away.
Spiro, had a question for you. I was wondering if you might just sort of walk us through in that first page of that you showed of your page, like if you were going to log on and do a post and sort of what it might look like and add a picture and um, yeah, just kind of because I didn't see a part for a bio either, but I might have missed it too.
Yes. Yeah, I will actually just share my screen again. To use the blog, that is all the way down at the bottom of your dashboard, and you can see that at a post right there. You will navigate to that
It's
from.
not showing up yet.
Oh, it's not. Um, it says that I'm screen sharing.
Just showing a blank screen.
Oh, lovely. Let's try that again. Sorry. Okay. Are you able to see my screen now?
No, but I can call you a different time. We could walk through it. But, yeah,
Yeah, absolutely. I can also just talk through it as well. Um, but once you've created your profile, it'll be like just in the header, the very far right is how you access your profile, or your dashboard. And then scroll down all the way to the bottom and you can add a post. Um, Yeah, sorry, that's strange that it's not working.
I wonder if you're sharing a different screen, or are you sharing the?
There we go. I see Kay's got it pulled up. Interesting.
So this is what the dashboard looks like. Are you able to see this?
Yeah, yeah.
So then this little button down here that says edit,
Yeah.
I believe should bring up a new page that looks like this, and it should open up this function for you that allows you to update. I already added a photo, but you could delete it and add a new one, or just hit choose file. You can change your profile name, and then this area, why are you fundraising, will give you a bio option. So you can add, as you can see, I need to go in and actually add mine. Right now I just have growing, check back soon, but you can add as much text there as you'd like. This is also where you can set your fundraising goal, as well as your activity goal. And so Sparrow talked a little bit about setting creative goals. So if you're not doing like a standard 100 miles, then you'll want to make a conversion and whatever that looks like. It gives you an option to add your pronouns. And then it also gives you this little nifty feature at the bottom where you can add a nice little cover photo if you want to as well. So I have this photo from a beach trip that I took. So this is where you can change and edit all of the details that like show up publicly on the internet, and that you can link people to either via QR code or by direct link.
And if you were also going to just do a posting after a day, you did a bike or a hike for a day.
Yes, that is a different function. Let me go back here to the main page. So in order to actually post up a blog, if you click here, it
Yeah.
would allow you to start a new blog post. And so that will create new content on your profile as you're writing. So like if you want to use it as a journal, or as a way to track your activity and your progress, you can do that. It gives you the function to add images as well as a title, as well as a simple blog post function, as well as the ability to include links. So you can use that function as well.
Great. Okay. Thank you.
And then separately to that, you can also actually just log your activity and progress towards your goal. So if your goal is 100 miles of walking, every time you walk 5 miles, you could go in and log your activity and say, I'm 5 miles towards my goal. I'm 15 miles towards my goal, and all that kind of stuff as well. And then that will show up here in your activity stats, which is just your personal page, that only you can see, but it's going to let you know what you're doing. It also gives you the function to, if you want to join a team, this button that says join congregation will allow you to join any existing team that's there. One thing too, for folks that ride with Strava, there is an ability to sync your Strava app with the Raisley platform. So if you use Strava to log your walking or biking miles, it would automatically sync between the two if you choose to add that option on.
Oh, and you have to sync it from this end or from the Strava end, or?
I believe you have to sync it from this end, and it will walk you through the process. Once you hit the like I consent button and then connect, it will walk you through the process to link those two.
Great.
And then this is what Sparrow mentioned down here. Once you're in your dashboard, you have access to a mover's guide, the events calendar, and the trail guide. So it's kind of like a one-stop shop for all of the materials we have. And then below it, you have this nice little QR code that you can just download and use for people to scan directly. So that is the same as if you gave people like your specific link. So that's what it kind of looks like on the inside.
That's helpful. Thank you.
Yeah, thanks, Kay, for talking through that.
Technology, it's like that sometimes.
Yeah.
No, I think that the use and functionality is definitely improved from earlier years. I think it'll be easier for people to share and post, which is, it's good.
Yeah, this is our first time using the Raisely platform, so we'll be open to hearing feedback around whether it's useful. It has a lot of different functions than other platforms we've used in the past. I mean, Rabbi Nathan, you've been around long enough to know when we were sending letters in the mail to ask for support, so we've come a long way.
Yeah.
Sometimes it's still easier to pick up the phone though and say, "Hey, I'm riding. Would you throw me 10?"
Right. Right.
And so that's one thing to say is that for the sake of those who are in this room and also for those who are watching the recording, if you're used to sending checks in and that's how people are used to giving to this campaign, you can still do that. So you can send those checks to our office. You'll just need to send me an email to let me know, and then we can go in on the back end and make sure that that donation is reflected. And those checks will take some time to be processed. But in terms of counting towards your fundraising goal, that's absolutely fine. If you can just make sure that in the memo line, people put whose campaign they're donating towards, that will help me make sure it gets to the right place.